Hi everybody, this is Lisa, the original designing diva. I had done a video over the weekend on how to make a faux Dori from a file folder from the Dollar Tree. And the folder that I used was a pocket folder, and it had pockets on the bottom. I had a request from a viewer to redo the part where you measure out the spine. So I'm just using a regular file folder. I'm not going to be bothered with the pocket part today. But just remember, when you cut your folder down to size, if you're using a pocket folder and you want the pockets, that you cut the top, not the bottom, or you lose your pocket. So in the video, I had said you could use a file folder for either an insert cover or a book cover. If you're doing it for an insert cover, you don't need to make a spine. You can just cut it down to size and fold it over. I showed that in the video. If you're making a faux Dori cover, if you make a spine in your cover, you're able to get more books in your cover because you've got an actual spine. You're not losing cover because it's taking up room with the inserts. In other words, the more inserts, if you don't have a spine, the more inserts you put in, this is what's going to happen. Your cover is going to shrink, and you're not going to be able to get as many inserts in. So I like to make a spine. Now, traditional Midori inserts are about 4 1/4 inches. You want your book cover obviously to be bigger. If you want a 5-inch book, if you want a 5-inch cover with a 1-inch spine, that's 11 inches. So that's 5.5 inches you're going to cut, okay? Because you're cutting for your pocket, it's already folded. So you've got both sides already. So you want 5 inches with a 1-inch spine. So you're going to cut it in 5.5. Okay? This is the world's worst trimmer and score. Okay. So make sure you cut on the open side because you want to have that fold. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the natural fold in your file folder where it was already folded. And you're going to put it on any whole number. Let's pick 6. Okay. If you don't have a scoreboard, just take a ruler and again pick any whole number and put it right on the natural fold of the file folder. And if you want a 1-inch spine, what you're going to do, I have it on number 6. Okay, it's just a random number I chose, so I have a starting point. You can pick any number. You could pick 5, 7, whatever. I picked it so I have a starting point. If you have a scoreboard, you can just score a 1/2 inch on one side and a 1/2 inch on the other side, and that will give you a 1-inch spine. If you don't have a scoreboard, what you're going to do is measure out 6.5 inches and 5.5 inches. You're going to go a 1/2 inch on one side and a 1/2 inch on the other side of that natural fold. Okay? And then if you don't have a scoreboard, just draw a line. Draw a line down where your score line is going to be. and use like a butter knife or something and just make a crease in your paper. If you have a scoreboard, what you're going to do is, again, I have mine on 6, just a random number I chose because it's a whole number. And this is really hard to see. Okay, 6.5. I'm going to score at 6.5. And you're going to go a half an inch on the other side. So you're going to score it. Well, this was 5.5, but 5.5 should be on the other side. Okay. So you pick a whole number. For a 1-inch spine, you're going to score 1/2 inch from that number on one side and 1/2 inch for that number on the other side. If you want a 2-inch spine, you're going to score 1 inch on either side. Okay, so you would score at 5 and you would score at 7. All right, so that gives you trying to do this so that I can't see it. There's my 2-inch line. So there's my 2-inch score mark, and there's 2 inches on the ruler. Okay, so it's 1 inch on either side of the natural fold. If you want a 1-inch spine, then you score a 1/2 inch right there on either side of the natural fold. Okay, and so on. If you want a 1/2 inch spine, you're going to score a 1/4 inch. So that gives you a half. You figure you're starting at a whole number. That's 0. Okay, and if you want a whole inch if you want a whole inch with that in your center, you're going to have to go 1/2 inch on one side and a 1/2 inch on the other. If you want 2 inches, you're going to have to go 1 inch on one side and 1 inch on the other. If you want a 1/2 inch, then you go 1/4 and a 1/4. So 1/4 and a 1/4 equals a half. A 1/2 and a 1/2 equals 1. 1 and 1 equals 2. Okay, I hope that makes sense. But what you're also going to do, don't forget, is you're going to cut down a piece of your file folder to whatever the width of your spine is. So say this is 1 inch, okay? And you're going to score it in the middle. So if it's 1 inch, if it's 1 inch wide, we're going to score it at a 1/2 inch. So just say I'm scoring at a 1/2 inch, okay? And you're going to fold it because you need that natural fold. And you're going to adhere that to the inside of your spine, because what you want is when you have your book together, and you're going to do the same thing on the outside, when you put your book together, you don't want that natural fold. You want that to be straight, and you just want the folds where you added your score lines. Okay, that makes sense? I hope that makes sense. If you have any other questions, if that doesn't clear it up for you, just message me again. I'll try and explain it a different way. It's really very simple. You just need to measure out 1 inch. So you start with a whole number on the natural score line, on the natural fold of the file folder, and if you want 1 inch, you got to go 1/2 inch on each side. That equals 1 whole inch. If you want a 1/2 inch, you go 1/4 inch on each side. That equals a 1/2. If you want 2 inches, you go 1 inch on either side. 1 and 1 equals 1 inch, and 1 inch equals 2 inches. And so on. If you want a 3-inch spine, then you have to go 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches. on either side. So if you just, whatever width you want in your spine, make sure you have that total with your natural fold in the middle, or half of whatever you want your width, your spine to be. It's going to be half on one side of the natural fold and half on the other side of the natural fold. Okay? Whatever you want your total spine to be, it's going to be half of that on one side of the fold and half of that on the other side of the fold. So if you want a 1-inch spine, you're going to have half an inch on one side of the fold and a half inch on the other side of the fold. And just remember to reinforce your spine on the front and the back so that when you, this one on the outside, you're not going to score it in the middle. This one, you're just doing it so that it will fold for you. Okay? But you want to reinforce that so you don't have that natural fold when you put your book together. You want it to be straight. Okay? So hopefully that explains it. Like I said, if not, just message me again. I'll try some other way to explain it, but I'm glad you asked questions. If you don't understand something, most definitely ask me. I love, I'm more than happy to try and re-explain things or do things over or make things simpler. So don't be afraid to ask me questions or ask me to do something over. Okay, I think that's it. I thank you for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. It helped clarify what to do with your spine. And I will say bye for now. So bye-bye.